So I met Rebecca in the St. Mary's MFA program for creative nonfiction writing, and one of the first things that I told her was that I had always felt like a skyscraper in a cornfield, and she told me that she had felt like a star over a basin. And as soon as these like metaphors for isolation were shared, I knew we would be friends forever.
I love it. And so when we were in the MFA, Kelsey and I started writing a collaborative essay that was intended to be kind of like this conversation based on these different themes and ideas that we shared, but that were what was interesting about them is that they were similar and yet very very different. So ideas like blondness or things like cats. I think we even did one on soulmates. Like I had a few pages and Kelsey was like, yeah, 2 words like that doesn't exist. Like, or no woman worth her salt believes in soulmates. So
Although
anyway,
I have learned that that is not true, but
Hey friends, I'm Rebecca, and I'm one of two facilitators leading the Magic of Metaphor workshop. The spirit of creativity is and fun. I'm here with my spirit creature, Freya. Say hello. Can you talk about how much you love metaphor? 7 things about me you should know. I love roller skating. And I love the color. I love knitting. Love reading, flowers, plants. More over here. Writing, especially with colorful pens. And hydration. Very, very, very big into hydration. I'm out here in my greenhouse for a little taste of nature, even though it's freezing outside. My qualifications 1, 2, 3 master's degrees. My last one's a Master of Fine Arts in Nonfiction Narrative. After graduate school, I worked for several years as a ghostwriter. And then in 2018, I co authored a book, A Court of Refuge. So I wanted to tell you all a little bit about how I came up with the idea for the Magic of Metaphor workshop. So I've always been a storyteller. Ever since I was a kid, I'd go and sneak away to some quiet corner with a pencil and pen and write until my hand cramped. I was sitting here writing, so I'm at my desk. This is my home office. And I'm working on a book. It had been going really well, and then all of a sudden one night, and I'm sure all you writers out there will sympathize with me on this one, but one night I sat down and it was just blank. There was a blank page on my screen in the flashing cursor, and the words weren't coming. And typically in my past, when I would encounter that before I began training to be a soul-based coach, I would have either done the very academic thing of just forcing something on the page, regardless of whether or not it was good, I would have written something. Or sometimes, just to be honest with you, I give up. I started to coach myself using the tools that I learned in soul-based coaching. And so for me, my block was literally white. It was a white screen. Okay, so I started with one of the clean questions. What kind of white is that white? What kind is it? Not that kind. Not quite that kind. And it occurred to me that it was the kind of white that's snow, the very kind of cold snow that is also sharp. Right? Is there anything else about that white that's sharp and cold like snow? And then I realized it was a particular day in the mountains. And so I asked myself another question. And where is the snow that's sharp and cold on that particular day in the mountains? And what emerged was a scene, a memory. And all of a sudden I wasn't blocked anymore. And that's what I want to share in this workshop. to be able to unpack your own metaphors.
She's tired as a dog.
Whether that's through movement, whether that's through a series of questions that we'll explore, so that instead of your creative blocks blocking you, you can use them as stepping stones to creating new material that's even closer to your unique experience.
Hi, my name is Kelsey Myers, and I love saying that because one of my favorite books since I graduated high school and my mentor, Shelley Swift, gave me as a gift Haim Potok's My Name is Asher Lev. And that book and Milan Kundera's The Unbearable Lightness of Being, which I read when I was 24, have shaped my whole being and self-expression. Both the idea of the artist who is so passionate that art becomes more important to him than his family and his religion, and the bowler hat as a symbol of female empowerment, of creative energy, of passion, have really captured my own imagination. And I have many bowler hats, of which these are only a few, but people associate me as the bowler hat persona, which I cultivated. I, like Rebecca, am a writer, and I love writing with shiny metallic pens, especially if they're in various colors. And I love shiny, pretty things, objects that sparkle. My wallet and these Blu-ray glasses I got because they shine and sparkle. And I love coffee. I'm addicted to coffee, and especially if it's chocolate, and especially if it's in a shiny, sparkly mug. I love to sing, especially country music. I love country music. I was raised on country music, and I lived in Nashville for a year. And I love, love, love to dance. I love the color red, and I love the fire, the heat, the strong quality that comes with red, and I have been exploring it through a collection I'm calling the Red Frame for about 10 years in my own writing. And it began with the metaphor of the red frame and me needing a new frame for my own existence and for my own identity as a Korean adoptee who hasn't been able to grieve that loss until recently through soul-based coaching and trauma healing and somatic experiencing and conscious dance. What I've experienced in my own healing process through soul-based coaching and the expressive arts training that I'm in at Tamolpa Institute for the life art process is that I always felt like I would be this fragmented, fractured soul, and because of the traumas that I've experienced as a woman and as an adoptee who was surrendered at birth, I have, through these processes, really become grounded, centered, whole, and real in a way that I never thought was possible before. And Rebecca and I just want to offer you these tools so that you know that transformation is possible.
So that's a taste of how Rebecca and I write and dialogue and interweave themes together and still, make it our own and use our voices to express different metaphors and different themes individually as well as collaboratively. And we hope that the magic of embodied metaphor can also allow you to do this and to come to your own metaphors and take them in and use these tools in your creative processes.
Yeah, absolutely. And have fun. It's just going to be
Yes, fun. And have fun. So come join us.